Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to another Toddy Walnuts update video. And we're all getting comfortable and ready to get in, hunker down, and see what I picked up over the last several weeks. I got a little pile here of newish movies. These are kind of the new pickups that I picked up over the last couple weeks. That stack right there in the middle, right there. Those are pickups that I got at Goodwill. I got some good ones in there. And I got a stack of Disney. These white releases here were from eBay, and then I got a 4K Blu-ray from the Disney Movie Club. And I got a couple of box sets, which I already did a video for. I'm going to throw those in just to kind of show you guys what I picked up over the past month. And just to kind of remind you guys, for those who haven't tuned in, I did do separate videos on those too. We'll cover those later in the video. I do have a couple of figures, a couple of horror figures, and a couple of He-Man Masters of the Universe figures. I got a big stack of vinyl that I also picked up at flea markets and stuff like that. And I got a one-sheet movie poster from Jason Takes Manhattan. It was the original one-sheet print from 1989. It was an actual theatrical poster, and I'll show that toward the end. I think we lost one of our audience members. Heidi jumped down and took off. I'm not sure where she went. But I guess it's just going to be me and Hannah in the video today. So let's take a look and see what I picked up over the past several weeks. I'll start with this little pile here. And these are movies I have recently watched over the past week. And I actually watched this one just today. And I picked it up about a week or so ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, at Target. And this is the 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray and digital copy of Godzilla vs. Kong. And I really enjoyed the movie. I thought it looked beautiful on 4K. I think this is probably the second best release that I've seen. I don't know what's going on here. It just seems to be, maybe this is not a good time to record a video. I don't know. Hopefully everything will kind of chill right now because I'm starting to get a little irritated. But let's have fun with this. And like I was saying, I just watched this today, and it's a very long movie. It's about 2 hours long, so it's a little bit lengthy. But I liked the way that it looked on 4K. It was beautiful. It comes in second to Suspiria to me as far as being visually stunning. This was a beautiful movie. I was a little bit disappointed that they had King Kong so inferior to Godzilla. This is not really going to be a review. It's just going to be kind of my thoughts on the movie. There was 3 different fight scenes. I'm not going to ruin anything for you guys who haven't watched it. I guess it'll be minor spoilers. So if you don't want to hear about this movie, skip forward a little bit, because I'm going to talk briefly about some minor spoilers, I guess. But there was 3 fight scenes between Kong and Godzilla. And the first one took place in the water. So, of course, that's pretty much Godzilla's domain, and he handled Kong very easily. He wiped him out pretty easily and pretty swiftly in that first fight. The second fight was on land, and that's more of Kong's territory, so he was more aggressive, and he was the better fighter in that second fight, and I feel like he won that second fight. The third fight was on land again, shortly after the second fight, and Godzilla killed Kong. He beat him so badly that Kong's heart was stopping, and they had to give him a giant charge to re-energize, to revitalize, and bring him back to life. And they both had to work together to vanquish NECA Godzilla, who was created by some evil scientist guys in this movie. So it's never the creatures who are evil, it's always man who's the worst villain. And together, Kong and Godzilla destroyed NECA Godzilla. And I thought that last fight was pretty cool. It had really good action scenes in it. So there's the 4K, and there's the regular Blu-ray. This is one I would probably watch again. I really enjoy the Kong movies. I have seen most of the Godzilla movies, but not all of them. And actually, this is a sequel to the Godzilla movie that came just before this one. I don't recall the name of it, and I have not seen that one. It was a Godzilla solo movie. And maybe one of you guys can comment down below. I do plan on watching that. And I went into this not realizing that this was going to be a sequel to that Godzilla movie. So I have to go back now and watch that. But I would give this probably about a 7 out of 10. I enjoyed it. Other than the fact that it was a little bit long, which it was just under 2 hours. I think it was 1 hour, 53 minutes. It would have been better to me if it was around maybe an hour and a half, I think would be plenty. But other than that, I thought everything was great. So let's move on to the next title. Okay, so the second title here is called Dead and Buried. This is a Blue Underground edition with the lenticular slipcover. And that has the needle in the eye. This is a 3-disc set. You get the 4K Blu-ray, the regular Blu-ray, and the CD soundtrack. And it's a beautiful edition, and I just watched this a couple of nights ago. I had seen this movie a few times before. It's a good one. I'm not going to spoil this one either. I'm just going to say that I thought it looked really good on 4K. There's the 4K Blu-ray right there, and there's the regular Blu-ray. And I'm sure many of you guys have seen this one by now. This is a witchcraft / zombie film. And it's one of those crazy town movies where the whole town folk is in on the, the mystery of the murders and all that stuff. Here's the CD soundtrack. And then it comes with a booklet. We're going to go through that as well. But yes, I do love this movie. I thought the acting was excellent. This is a movie from, I think it was either 1981 or 1982. It had James Ferrantino is in this movie. He was the lead detective. I thought he was an excellent actor. Jack Albertson was in this movie. He was the coroner or the mortician, whatever you want to call him, the embalmer, the one who kind of makes the corpses look pretty as he puts it in the movie. And it was actually one of his last roles, Jack Albertson. He was the voice of Amos Slade on Disney's Fox and the Hound. And he was also in that the sitcom Chico and the Man. He was the man, the old man. Excellent actor, very good voice actor. And I thought the movie was very good. And I also give this one a 7 out of 10. We'll take a look here. There's Albertson right there. Maybe you guys would recognize him. I know if you heard his voice, you would definitely recognize him as Amos Slade from The Fox and the Hound. But here are some of the other actors and actresses. This movie plays out very similar to a Twilight Zone movie. And it has a twist ending, which I thought was the cherry on top. It was really good. And unfortunately, this was the very last movie for Mr. Albertson. He passed away from, I think he had colon cancer. And Dead and Buried and The Fox and the Hound were his last 2 roles that he had credited on IMDb. He also did the voice for Fractured Fairy Tales, I believe, from the old Bullwinkle cartoons. So let me put this back together and we will move on. So just give it one more look here at the lenticular. There were 3 different covers. I thought this one, to me, was the coolest one. I don't know if at some point I'll get the other 2 just to kind of complete that little collection. But I'm pretty sure now that this is going to be the last time I buy this movie, because Blue Underground also released a regular Blu-ray back in 2015. So just 6 years ago they put this on Blu-ray. And then prior to that was the limited edition from Blue Underground on DVD. This one came in a digipack and it was limited to, I think, 10,000. And I have number 4214. And although this is a very good movie, and as collectors sometimes we will double, triple, quadruple dip movies that we enjoy, I don't feel like I need to purchase this one anymore. Everything that I need for this movie is right here. And I don't sell anything in my collection typically. Sometimes, every once in a blue moon, I will sell something in my collection, but I do plan on keeping these. Just wanted to show you guys the 3 editions that I have for Dead and Buried, all from Blue Underground. So let's move on to the next title. So the next title here is from a good friend of mine here on YouTube, from Chili Billy. I know many of you guys know who Chili Billy is. I'd say about 2 weeks ago, I went and had a nice Dollar Tree haul, and I was looking for this one on Blu-ray, but I only found it on DVD with the slipcover. And I mentioned that in that video a couple of weeks ago that I would like to pick up the Blu-ray at some point. And luckily for me, Chili Billy was watching that video, and he mentioned in one of the comments that he had 2 of these, and he had slipcovers for both of them, and he told me he would like to send one to me, and I thought that was really great. So Chili Billy sent this to me. I think it only took like 2 or 3 days to get here after he told me he was going to send it to me. So that was, and not only that, it was very well packaged. I was going to show the boxing and the packaging that he had. It was really, really nice. It was perfect, but it had both of our information on it, and I want to keep his address private, and I'm going to keep it for myself because I will be sending something back to him, and I didn't want to, reveal his private information, so I did not show the box. But a huge thank you, Chili Billy, if you're watching. I really appreciate that. And I did pop this in, and I watched this one a couple of nights ago as well, over the past weekend. I thought this was a really good slasher film. I had to kind of choose my words because it's not a great slasher film, but I went into it without a lot of expectations. I wasn't really expecting much out of this movie. Within the first 15 or 20 minutes, I was sucked into this movie. There was a lot of action. There was a huge amount of body count. There was very, very brutal kills. There was a lot of blood. It was a very wet movie. I really thought it was great. Omar Epps is in it, and you guys may know him as Q from Juice. He's really grown up now. I mean, he's the same age as me. I think he's a year older than me, Omar Epps. And I remember we kind of grew up together. I'm watching him. I don't know him personally, but just watching him on film, we were about the same age as I was watching him on movies, and we kind of grew up together that way. Jamie Kennedy is also in here. He plays a doctor. He's a little bit miscast, I thought, for this movie. Tom Atkins is in the movie, and he had quite a few screenshots. He was in the movie quite a bit. I don't want to ruin it. I was going to say what happened to his character, but in case anybody didn't see this yet, I don't want to ruin that for you guys. It has a twist ending, and I thought that the movie kind of dragged a little bit past that. There's a red herring in the movie, first of all, and then when they kind of switch it up on you at the end, it kind of dragged on another 15 to 20 minutes after the twist. After they reveal the twist ending, it drags a little bit more. But I didn't think it detracted from the score of the movie. I thought they could have just shortened it a little bit. I'm still going to give this one also a 7 out of 10. I know this one gets a lot of hate. I noticed on IMDb, I think it only has like a 5.5 or maybe a 6 grade. But it had everything that I wanted in a movie that I like to watch. I love slasher movies. The killer was awesome. He switched masks, so you didn't always know who he was because this movie takes place during Halloween. So there's a lot of different people wearing masks in the movie. You don't really know where he is all the time. He had this really creepy whistle whenever he was nearby, so that kind of made the hair on your arms stand up a little bit. There was a lot of brutal kills, and there was a lot of kills that were pretty well thought out, I thought. It wasn't just, I don't want to ruin that either. There was a lot of different types of kills, which I thought was pretty cool. There's Jamie Kennedy. He played a doctor. He was very, very miscast in this movie, I thought. And he got top billing for some reason, so they must have paid him pretty well for this movie. But there's Omar Epps. You guys probably recognize him. He's been in a lot of different things over the years. The serial killer was named Trick in this movie because his name is Patrick Weaver. I think his last name was Weaver. Yeah, Patrick Weaver. And they just shortened it to Trick. And man, that guy was brutal. He was just a beast. You can see there's different masks and stuff. So this was directed by Patrick Lussier, I believe is how you pronounce it, and he was also the director of the My Bloody Valentine remake. So very glad to have this. Thank you very much, Chili Billy, for sending this my way. I really enjoyed the movie. 7 out of 10 for me. I will leave Chili Billy's link down below so you guys can go and show him some love and appreciation and go subscribe to him. So let's get on to the next movie. So the next movie here is a movie that was recommended to me by Amazon. And if you guys do a lot of shopping on Amazon, they kind of keep track of the things that you buy, and they will send you recommendations based on some of the things that you've purchased in the past. And they've done that quite a bit to me, and I've never heard of this movie before. This is called Summer of '84. And when they recommended it to me, when I saw it on the suggestion, I went over to IMDb and I started reading about it. And it's another serial killer type movie, and it's based off of, I got to be careful how I word this because I don't want to give anything away. It's based off of killings that take place in the year 1984, but this movie just came out like a year or two ago. Let's say maybe this was 2019 or 2020 that this movie came out. And it's kind of a coming-of-age movie, kind of like Stand By Me or the Losers Club, you know, where there's a bunch of these kind of teens or preteens, and they suspect somebody in their town of murder, and they happen to suspect a police officer. And everybody in this little town that these kids come from happen to love this police officer. It's a small town, so everybody knows everybody's name. The police officer knows all the kids. They seem to think that he is a serial killer, and they try to follow him, and they try to find out, you know, what he's doing at night, what his routes are, you know, what's he doing in his backyard, because they think that he's digging holes. And I don't want to give too much of it away. I thought it was a very good film. It was, again, I didn't expect much from it. It was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. And I would probably give this one a 7 as well. I know I'm probably 7 happies tonight, but I've been pretty lucky. 7 is a good score for me, and a lot of these movies are 7s. So I would recommend this one if you haven't seen it before. I don't know a lot of people that talk about this one, so it might be under the radar, or it might be just that, you know, I'm late to the party and maybe everybody's talking about it. But Summer of '84, 7 out of 10. If you like those coming-of-age movies where the kids are trying to piece together a mystery, and meanwhile there's horrifying things happening, but you can't really, you know, there's a couple of twists in this movie too, and that's what really kind of pulled me in. So let's move on to the next one. The next one here is an upgrade, a Blu-ray upgrade from Code Red. The original DVD was from Scorpion Releasing, and this is Ator, the Fighting Eagle. And this is a very low, like a B movie, kind of a Conan the Barbarian ripoff. But it's from 1982. It's a fun watch. It's very cheesy, but it's a very good watch. Like I said, I enjoy this movie. And this upgrade here on Blu-ray was one that I wanted. It's a very rare slipcover. It's an embossed and glow-in-the-dark slipcover. And this was offered, I think, through Ronin Flicks, and I waited too long, and it sold out pretty quick. So I had to go on the secondary market and pay a little bit more for this one. I ended up paying around $40 for this, which is probably twice, you know, what the asking price was when it first dropped. But I mean, what are you going to do? This is one I really wanted. So I haven't watched this one on Blu-ray yet. This is from Code Red and Dark Force. But I'm very glad now to own this one. I can't really talk about it because it's been a long time since I've seen this one, and I haven't watched it on Blu-ray, and it's been many years since I've seen it. So, but now that is in the collection. So let's move on to the next movie. The next one is a horror film that I picked up at Target the same day I bought Godzilla vs. Kong a few weeks ago. This is the Blu-ray and digital code of The Unholy from producer Sam Raimi. I have not watched this one yet. In fact, I just now opened it, and I'm going to give away the digital code. I'll do that near the end. So if you guys want that, you stick around, and maybe you'll be lucky enough to get that. There's Jeffrey Dean Morgan from The Walking Dead and Supernatural and others. And it says The Unholy is based on James Herbert's best-selling book, Shrine. I really don't know anything about this. I just picked it up. It was kind of an impulse buy. I really went there looking for the Kong movie on 4K, and I saw this sitting there, and I was like, yeah, you know what? Let me go ahead and grab that. But it's just basically a kind of bare bones on the inside. And I'm not even sure if there's any special features. But you know what the heck, I'll give away the digital code now. If you got it, good for you. And if you want to comment down below who got it, there it is right there. Hopefully that's clear enough for you to get that. Pause it, and we are going to keep moving on. And the next three are Steelbooks, and these are not open, so I'm just going to show these really quick. This is the latest Steelbook from Scream Factory, and this is Roger Corman's Battle Beyond the Stars. I have this one on DVD, and I was glad to. I pre-ordered this one, and again, I pre-ordered it on Amazon. So I'm pretty much playing with fire when I order Steelbooks through Amazon, because I think 10 times out of 10 they ship it in a bubble mailer, but I've been lucky. So, and if there's even one nick, it's going back. So I guess I'm not really too concerned about that, but the artwork is pretty sweet. This is a pretty good movie. It's kind of a Star Wars type ripoff, drive-in style movie. Very fun watch. That's Battle Beyond the Stars, and then I have a couple of Studio Ghibli Steelbooks. I picked these up directly from Target, and the first one here is The Wind Rises from Hayao Miyazaki. And these are really fun films, and these are double dips for me because I bought all of these when Disney released those a few years ago. And here is The Secret World of Arrietty. And it may look like it has scratches, but that's just there's plastic on there still, so. And you can kind of see dust floating around in here. But those are my three Steelbooks. And next we will move into the pile that I got from Goodwill, and we'll talk a little bit about those movies. Okay, so this next pile is from a couple different trips to Goodwill over the past month, and it's a couple different Goodwill stores that I go to. And I always wonder when I go to Goodwill, because the people, when you buy something at Goodwill, it's things that were donated. So people actually just, you know, whatever, they bring a box of movies to Goodwill and they just give them to the employees there. And I don't know what they do. They maybe clean them up and just put them on the shelves. But I got very lucky, and I'm going to show you this whole stack. Most of these Blu-rays here, some of them are still sealed, and they're selling these for $3 a piece. And I always wonder, where do these come from? Was somebody just trying to get rid of things to make room in their house, or did somebody die and I'm, getting somebody's collection? Because some of these movies, maybe they just didn't want to deal with selling them on eBay or selling them in a rummage sale. It's just easier for them to get rid of this stuff. But if you go into Goodwill stores at the right time, you can really come out like a bandit. And I feel like this one particular day I went with my son, and we got most of these Blu-rays, and like I said, some of these are still sealed, for $3 a piece, and they're like brand new. This is Trader. I watched this one a couple of weeks ago. Don Cheadle is excellent. I like everything that Don Cheadle does. He's one of my favorite actors of all time. He's very, very good. And this movie, it's kind of like a Donnie Brasco. There's a couple of twists in this movie too, and I'm not going to give it away. But Don Cheadle kind of goes undercover to work with would-be terrorists while at the same time working for the government. So he's undercover, and then he kind of becomes friends with some of these terrorists, a la Donnie Brasco. When he went in undercover and worked for the mob, he became friends with Sonny Black and some of those other guys. I think the only difference, though, is the Donnie Brasco movie is 100% accurate. It really happened. This movie is just just fiction, but it was still very fun to watch. And Guy Pearce is also in this movie, and Guy Pearce is working for the government, and Don Cheadle kind of answers to Guy Pearce's character and works for the terrorists at the same time. It's very interesting, and I recommend checking this out. This is the Blu-ray, and this is the digital copy when they used to put those on discs. So unfortunately, I can't give that to you, but enjoyed the movie. It was fun. This one was also from a Goodwill store, but this one is a little bit beat up. DVDs are 99 cents at the Goodwill stores I go to, and Blu-rays are $2.99. This is called Dread Time Stories. It's a twin billing of Decoys, and Decoys the Second Seduction. And it's kind of like the Wendigo story, kind of shapeshifters, and it comes on a swing tray, and they're each on their own disc. Disc 1 looks like it was played quite a bit, and Disc 2 looked like it was never even watched. And for 99 cents, I was glad to pick that up. Even if the movies are terrible, I just like to have this in the collection. I like to collect as many horror movies as I can. Here's one that, although it says Best Buy on it, this was from Goodwill. This movie was terrible. I couldn't even finish this movie. It was so bad. It was really, really horrible. This is a found footage movie, but the guy, let me see if I can find him in here. No. The guy who was doing the camera work was so annoying. I only got 3/4 of the way through the movie, and it took me about 2 or 3 sittings to get that far. I'll never revisit this movie. It's about a student who is in a play, a theatrical play for the high school, and in the play he's supposed to get hung. There's in the gallows he's supposed to get hung. But something goes wrong, and he actually does slip and fall, and the noose chokes his windpipe, and by the time they try to save him, it's too late and he dies. So fast forward now several years down the road, and there's a new group of students, and they're all in this drama class, and they're putting on a play. And the kid who is doing the video recording, he's kind of a jock, and he's making fun of all these friends here that are in the theater. And they decide to go into the school at night one night, and they're going to try to see if they can run into this ghost of this kid that was that was hung. I probably made it sound better than it is, and it's a terrible movie. I do not recommend it. I don't give scores this low usually, but I would give this a 2 out of 10. 2 is probably the lowest I'll ever go, because if somebody puts out a movie and they try, I'll give them at least a 2 for that. And that's what this is right here. I mean, it's a 2. I don't even want this in my collection. I don't think there's a digital code. If there is, if you guys want to see how bad it is for yourself, it says must redeem by October 13th of 18, but usually that's incorrect. So if you guys want to see just how bad that is for free, there's the code for you. Have at it. Don't blame me, because I warned you. So let's move on to the next title. Now, getting into these next movies here, most of these I have not seen before, and although these are popular movies, I'm sure most of you guys have seen these movies. I never bought them because, movies are expensive, but if I can go into, I try to save my money for horror movies and things that I like to collect. But if I can go into Goodwill and find these like brand new for just a couple bucks, I will jump on that. And I'm sure most of you guys are saying, what, you've never seen Inception? I never have, but I will soon, believe that. So this is Inception, and I've heard very good things about it. It's just a kind of a bare bones release. For a couple bucks, I'll definitely jump on that every time. This next one here is still sealed, $2. It's grown up, so it has a pretty good cast. And no, I've never seen it. I think this came out a few years ago. Looks like it says 2010, so it's been about 11 years. But it's got a good cast. I mean, Adam Sandler and Kevin James are funny. Chris Rock and David Spade and Rob Schneider. So it's going to just be silliness, but every once in a while it's kind of fun to put these movies on and just eat a little popcorn and have fun. Another one I've never seen. This is called Lawless, based on a true story. Not the biggest Shia LaBeouf fan. He irritates me on screen, and Tom Hardy, he's another one I can, give or take. Jessica Chastain is very lovely, and Guy Pearce is in this one as well. So for $2, I thought I'd give it a shot. It's a 3-disc set because you have a Blu-ray, a DVD. Here's the Blu-ray. Here's a DVD, and then here's a digital copy, hard copy. And $2 for an Anchor Bay movie. I mean, why not? Another one I have not seen before, and this is called Law Abiding Citizen. I'm sure most of you guys have seen these. Jamie Foxx and Gerard Butler, unrated director's cut. Good little action fun. Zero Dark 30 won 5 Academy Awards, or 5 Academy Award nominations for Best Picture. The greatest manhunt in history, and I believe this is the hunt and killing of Bin Laden, I believe, right? When they eliminated that scumbag. But it's a Blu-ray DVD combo for a couple bucks. How can you pass that up? I mean, these are like brand new. This one I have seen before, and I do have a steelbook of it, but I picked it up. It's still sealed for $2. Gravity. Sandra Bullock and George Clooney. I enjoy this movie. I have a pretty cool steelbook of it, but for $2 I grabbed the Amaray case of it. Here's a Anthony Hopkins movie. It says it's inspired by true events, called The Right. Never heard of it before. It says it includes the chilling alternate ending. Don't know anything about the movie. This looks like an older release, though. Trying to see if I can find a release or a year that it was put out, but I don't see it. But they used to have that kind of that blue border in the early days of Blu-ray, so this might be 10 years or older. If anybody has seen any of these and you want to chime in, please feel free to do so. Here's another one. This is based on a true story called American Sniper. Bradley Cooper and Sienna Miller. Based on the true life story of Chris Kyle, who Bradley Cooper portrays in the movie. It's a Blu-ray DVD combo. Brad Pitt in Fury. See what I mean? These are like brand new, and I just can't believe that somebody would just go give these away to Goodwill, and that's just a Blu-ray. But I'm not going to give all my digital codes away today. Here's one called The Fighter with Mark Wahlberg, Christian Bale. Came with the slipcover. $2. It was nominated for 7 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. I love Mark Wahlberg. I think he's a great actor. This one also comes with Blu-ray and DVD. So you can see a lot of these are not horror movies, but these are ones I wanted to add to my collection for cheap. Here's The Hurt Locker. Heard nothing but good things about it. Haven't watched it before. It says here at the top, it's a near perfect movie, and that's a quote by Richard Corliss from Time Magazine. Don't know who he is, but that's a pretty bold statement. Blu-ray. Then I picked this one up. It looks absolutely terrible. It has writing in the corner. It's called Darktown, but it's from a Blockbuster, so I wanted to get that for 99 cents on DVD. Comes in the old Blockbuster case. That alone to me is worth the movie. And the movie itself is probably horrible. I haven't watched it yet. It's kind of an urban take on the horror movies. And I believe this was $4, $3.99. This is the Dilbert, the complete series, and this is going to be for my cartoon collection, animation collection. It's a 4-disc set. It has the entire run of the Dilbert commercials, or cartoons, I should say. See, we'll pop it out real quick just to take a peek on the inside. Pretty cool little set. I really don't know much about the cartoon, but for $4, it comes with a couple different catalogs here. There's like a little booklet talking about the discs, and then I think this is kind of a catalog for other releases that they have. So let me put some of that stuff away and we'll get into the Disney pile. Okay, before I get into the Disney pile, I just want to do a quick recap on these Blu-rays. And I want you guys to let me know which ones I hit a home run on and which ones I struck out on, in your opinion. So I got Inception, The Gallows, Zero Dark 30, Law Abiding Citizen, Lawless, Grown Ups, Traitor, Decoys and Decoys the Second Seduction, Gravity, American Sniper, The Hurt Locker, The Fighter, The Fury, or just Fury, and The Right. So I'd be interested in hearing your guys' opinions about these movies, and maybe that will help me decide which ones to watch first and which ones to kind of push down the list. So the first Disney title is a movie I just watched today. I watched it right after Godzilla vs. Kong, and I loved it. I thought this was a great movie. To me, this is an 8 out of 10. I'm going to talk a little bit about it. I'm going to try not to give spoilers. If I do, they're going to be very minute spoilers. So if you don't even want to hear a minute spoiler, maybe just kind of fast forward a little bit. But this is the latest Disney 4K. Comes with a 4K HD and a Blu-ray and the digital code, which is already, I gave it away to my daughter already. This is called Raya and the Last Dragon. They're calling this the Ultimate Collector's Edition. Comes in this beautiful slipcover. Kind of has that foil effect. It looked amazing on 4K. The movie, there's the 2 discs. I'll talk about the movie a little bit. And I'm going to start calling these update videos the Toddy Walnuts Variety Hour, because these videos are usually pretty long, and I don't like to, you know how I get to talking sometimes and I go on and on and on. Certain things I like to talk about and give you guys a little more detail. And when I do that, it tends to make longer videos. So instead of calling these update videos from now on, these are just going to be called the Toddy Walnuts Variety Hour. So if you ever see that, you'll know it's an update video. But this movie here, it takes place in kind of a Southeast Asia in the islands, but it has kind of a mythical, magical land that it takes place in. And there's a tribe when you first get into the movie. Raya lives with her father and in a village, and they have I guess it's kind of like a dragon stone, but they call it the water gem, and it controls dragons. And they have 3 other tribes who they're at odds with these other tribes. So in the very beginning of the movie, Raya's father kind of calls a truce, kind of like a dinner. Raya's village is going to put on a feast, a large feast for these other 3 tribes to come over and kind of make peace with these people. And they all come to the feast, but they have one thing on their mind and one thing only. It's not for a truce or for peace. They want to get their hands on that dragon stone because they want to control the dragons, and they want to have the power for their tribe and their tribe alone. So, long story short, they find out that that they don't want to have the peace meal with this tribe, and a little skirmish occurs. And during this skirmish, the dragon stone falls and breaks into 4 chunks, and each tribe ends up getting 1 chunk. And in order to get the dragon stone whole and to bring peace back onto the land, Raya has to go out on an adventure and collect all of the shards to make the stone whole again. And I thought the scenery, the characters were excellent. The voice acting was excellent. I love these type of movies where they go on adventures and she pulls out a map and she has to go on these treacherous areas of the map to get to these different tribes. And as she finds each stone, somebody from that tribe will join her quest for peace. And you know how each Disney movie usually has a theme or some kind of a life lesson. In this movie, the life lesson is trust. And they kind of preach on the trust aspect. And I think the underlying lesson is kind of greed. Don't be greedy. Without giving too much of it away, I thought some of the characters were very good. I laughed out loud a couple of times. Some of the characters had funny one-liners. The dragon was cool. Raya's character was really cool. I'm hoping that they have a sequel. They didn't really leave it open at the end for a sequel, but I'm sure that they, I think this was going to make a lot of money for Disney. It's a computer-generated animation too, but it's done really well. I mean, the water actually looks like water, and when it rains, it looks like rain, and it's very well done. It looked beautiful on 4K. It's another long movie. This was just under 2 hours. I think it was like an hour and 50 minutes or something like that. So it could have been a little bit shorter, but they did spend a lot of time character developing. They did spend a lot of time traveling. So it was things that I enjoyed. It wasn't just dead space that they were killing time. But if you guys haven't seen this one, definitely check it out. This is an 8 out of 10 for me, maybe even 8.5. It was very good. It has a feel-good ending to it as well. So I'll just leave it at that. I don't want to kind of ruin any more of it. But my favorite character was, what was that? There was a little boy who was the captain of the ship. And that's him right there. I can't remember what his name was. It was an odd name like Duel or something like that. And then this little baby, they called her Con Baby because she was a little thief. And this little baby had these 3 pets right here. I don't know what they are. I think they're like baboons or something. These 3 white pets were friends with that baby, and they were traveling companions, and they cracked me up. Con Baby was the funniest character in that movie, and my favorite character though was probably that little boy. He was a captain of a ship, and he was also a chef, and he kept feeding these people. So that was my take on Raya and the Last Dragon. I suggest you guys check it out. It's a fun watch. This next stack here, these are DVDs with slipcovers, and these were released, I believe, in 2007. And these have been around for a long time. These were always pretty pricey for this little collection. There was 7 volumes. I have all 7. I purchased this on eBay as a lot. And for a long time, even for just the first 6, the 7th one is kind of rare. I'll show you that in a minute. But the first 6 you can find those pretty regularly on eBay, and they would go from $90 to $120 for the first 6, even on DVD, because they're kind of rare. These are the Walt Disney Animated Collection Classic Short Films, and they're volumes. I don't know if you can see that on the side. You're probably not going to be able to, because it's kind of washing out, but in that little box right there it says volume 1. You just have to take my word for it. But these also do come with a collectible lithograph inside each box, and I'll show you that in a minute. But I got these 7 for $40, and I had been watching for these for many years now. I wanted to get a good deal for it. When I saw them for $40, I jumped on it. I don't know if I'll ever see these again, so. And I like to collect everything Disney, and I do have a pretty good Disney collection. So these were not just impulse buys. These were something I had on my radar for quite a while. But this first one's called Mickey and the Beanstalk. And volume 2 is called 3 Little Pigs. These are in pretty good shape too, for being 14 years old. These are long out of print. Volume 3 is called The Prince and the Pauper. I'm sure many of you guys remember these from the Disney Channel growing up. And this is volume 4, The Tortoise and the Hare. I won't show you every lithograph, but I will pull one out to show you at the very end here. It's just a little card with an image on it. This is volume 5, Wind in the Willows. See, they come with short film classics. Wind in the Willows, The Ugly Duckling, The Robber Kitten, The Grasshopper and the Ants, The Wise Little Hen, and The Golden Touch. It comes with a couple of special features too. This is volume 6, The Reluctant Dragon. Now you can find these 6 that I just showed you pretty, they're usually on eBay, but they're pretty expensive. This one is going to be a little bit harder to find. And this is Mickey's Christmas Carol. They have since released this on Blu-ray, but it's harder to find the DVD with the slipcover. And this is volume 7. I think I said 6. This is 7. Those are the first 6. So I will take a moment to show you guys the litho on this one. Then I'll talk a little bit about the 2 box sets that I just showed recently in a video. I'll just be real brief about that. Then we'll get into the horror figures that I picked up. So there's the disc art. That's what it looks like. And then here's just a little, I don't know what that size that is, 4x7 maybe, 4x8. It's a lithograph of a scene from the movie. So I'm going to pause it now, put all this stuff away, and we'll get into the 2 box sets just really briefly. So recently, like about a couple days ago, actually, or less than a week ago, I did a review on my channel here. If you're interested in hearing more about Hammer Volume 6 Night Shadows, you can go back and watch that full video, and I go through and talk about everything in this box set. It comes with the Shadow of the Cat, Captain Clegg, The Phantom of the Opera, and Nightmare in a beautiful box set. And like I said, I did a complete review on that. If you're interested, go check that out. And I also did one for Arrow Video's Vengeance Trails, 4 classic westerns. Come on, Todd. We're almost done here now. Actually, we got a little ways to go yet. But this one comes with Bandidos, Massacre Time, My Name is Pecos, and God Said to Cain. Also comes with a double-sided poster and I think it was a 60-page booklet. So there you go. There's that. So let me pause it here now and we will talk about some horror figures. So the first horror figure I have is from NECA, and it says The Man of Your Dreams is back. This is a scene, my favorite scene from A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, Freddy's Revenge. When he crashes the pool party. Let me see if I can get in here without a glare. There you can see the 2 dogs with the human faces. Comes with Freddy's hat. Comes with this extra glove. Comes with a couple of different head sculpts, and you got that flame in the back when he makes that wrought iron fence red hot and the pool starts bubbling from the heat. And he says a quote right here. And I want you guys, I know what he says. I want to see if you guys know what he says. Comment down below. What does Freddy say right here when he makes that pose like that? And all the kids are running around screaming, trying to get out of there. Freddy says something to the group of kids. But that's my favorite scene from that movie. I will leave a link down below of that scene, but I want you guys to comment before you click the link. I know you guys know it. There's the 2 dogs with the human faces. Nightmare on Elm Street 2 was excellent. It was just a little bit inferior to the first one, but Part 2 was excellent. So let's get into the second figure. You can see a lot of dust back here. Those big chunks of dust that you see on the screen like that, my house is really not that dusty. It's just when I start moving this stuff around and those little flecks look like they're big missiles, but my house is really not that dirty. The next figure is Masters of the Universe, Battle Armor Skeletor. He has the battle damage chest. This one is collector grade. I bought this from Big Bad Toy Store. I think I paid $2 extra to get the collector grade, so the card is mint. Really love that figure. Take a look at the back. And we will move on to the next figure. This one is called the Deluxe, or the Buzzsaw Hordak. Saw blade bursts out of his chest. Also comes with his crossbow, comes with the second head sculpt, comes with another hand so he can hold the crossbow. There's some of the ammo for the crossbow. Actually, I don't think that's for the crossbow. It looks like it comes shooting out of his chest. Yeah, that's what that is. There's a little indentation in his chest that you can put those buzz saws in there from the Evil Horde. Kind of an underrated figure. Everybody kind of thinks of Skeletor as the main bad guy, but this guy was just as bad as Skeletor, just didn't get as much screen time. And we will move on. I have one more figure to show. The next piece here is a pretty large piece. This is from Diamond Select Toys, and they're a little on the pricey side. And this is a statue of Valak, the demon nun, or the nun from the Conjuring universe. I'm gonna take her out of the box so you guys can see her better. I mean, it looks way better out of the box. I just wanted to kind of show you what the box looked like. Got this at FYE. There's Diamond Select Toys logo. They're kind of a higher end. They're a little bit more pricey than like NECA figures. They're just as collectible. You don't see them all over the place though. I'm gonna pause it and we're gonna break into the packaging here, and I'm gonna pull her out so you can see. You see the pose she's in a little bit better. Okay, so don't get used to me opening up figures. I just took her out. Because I do have a couple statues that I don't have in package, but I tend to keep my figures boxed. I may keep her out of the box and keep her displayed because she's pretty sweet. I did order something else that was related to this very character. It's not going to be here for another 3 weeks. And it was a pretty pricey item. I think I told you guys about that a couple videos ago, that I was kind of saving for a bigger item. And it has to do with this particular character. But just look at the detail of this. I mean, it's very, very nice. A lot of detail. You can kind of see that even though that this is kind of a resin, it looks like it's fabric, and it looks like it's wet because she's standing in water. But that face, that stare, I don't know if you can see, there's like blue veins coming in her forehead. Her tear lips are kind of blackish, her teeth are dark. Her eyes are a piercing, iridescent yellow, and they pierce right through you. And you can see that there's even veins on her hand. It's kind of washed out because I have the flash, so it's not the best setup here to view the fine details, but maybe you can see that the fingernails are dirty, kind of a yellowish, just very, very creepy. I may keep her out and keep her displayed, but this is a very heavy piece and it's a very high quality. I have a bust I'm going to show you guys. Then I'll show you a poster, a theatrical poster, and then I'll save the vinyl for last because I don't know how many of you guys are really into the vinyl, and I have quite a stack of it. So stay tuned. I'm going to show you guys a bust of Nosferatu. Okay, so this one I cut the light out for because I think it's going to look much better with the flash on in the dark. But this is a bust in the likeness of Max Schreck, who played Count Orlok in the movie Nosferatu. And this is from a company called Quarantine Studios, and this was limited to 300 pieces for this beautiful bust. It sits on top of a mausoleum. There are 2 AA batteries in there, and the mausoleum is made to flicker like there's torches burning on the inside of the mausoleum. It's a really beautiful piece. The head comes off. It's very heavy, thick resin. On the bottom, you can see that it's hand numbered, number 72 out of 300 pieces. There's the little slot where the batteries go. And this was from a company called Quarantine Studio. 2019 this was released. You can see the light flickering. Maybe you can't, but it does. Because my flash is flashing right on it, it may be kind of taken away from that effect. But it's a really, really nice piece. And I keep this displayed in my living room. But let's take a closer look at the bust. It just slides on like that. Look at the detail. Everything is hand painted. Look at the eyes. Even the eyebrows are painted on to make it look like there's single strands of hair. You can see the teeth look filthy and moldy and blood-soaked. There's one scene in the movie where he wears this hat, and I think it's a nice touch on this statue. I really like it. Really nice piece. So let's move on to the theatrical poster that I picked up. So here is my theatrical poster from 1989. This is Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. The poster dimensions are 27 inches across and 41 inches down. I had to get a custom frame. It's hard to find frames that are, the regular frames are 27 by 40. You can get those just about anywhere. You can get those at Walmart. You can order them online from Amazon. 27 by 41 are a little bit harder to find these days, and it's real wood, whereas the other ones are kind of cheap plastic. This is real wood, and it has UV protecting glass. So these frames are very expensive. The frame was more expensive than this poster was. For a official one sheet from 1989, I paid $60 for the poster, and I paid $70 for the frame. So, but I love it, and I wanted to have it because I really like that poster. And I kind of stuck it there just for now. That's not where it's going to stay. I just put it there to demonstrate it for the video. I wanted to show you guys the Jason Takes Manhattan mask that Rick from 13X Studios made. Take a look at that for a minute, and then you can look at the poster and kind of see where he got his inspiration from. I think that's pretty cool. All right, I got one more pile of things to show you guys, and then we'll wrap it up. Okay, so what you see before you here are a stack of vinyl records from Goodwill stores, and they were 99 cents a piece. These were not all purchased in one day or even at one store. These were purchased through several trips to a couple different stores over the past month. It looks like a lot. It is a lot, but it wasn't all in one day. And I forgot that I have these. I don't know how I could forget these. These are called video discs, and I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with these. I'm not really familiar with these. These were kind of the precursor to laser discs. And video discs are kind of like they're like giant hard discs, you know, like a computer disc. And it's like a cartridge almost, and you slide it into a video disc player, and on the inside of here is about the size of a record. that looks exactly like a laser disc. I'm not going to pull it out. There's a way that you can slide these tabs and pull it out, but there's a laser disc on the inside of here. And what I think happened was, in the 70s, I think these came out in the 70s, just before laser discs, and I think these were kind of the Betamax, and laser discs were kind of the VHS, and VHS ended up, beating Betamax, to put it in layman's terms. But so I don't think there's very many of these around, and I don't think there's a huge market for these. I picked this one up on eBay. I think I got it for like 20 bucks, just because I love Friday the 13th, and I love that image. This is part one, obviously. And you have that background image of the camp counselors at the lodge there. It's pretty cool. And I wanted to pick that up just for the Friday the 13th collection. This was a pretty good shape, considering it's probably, the movie came out in 1980, so it couldn't have been before that. So it was probably like in the early 80s this came out, this video disc. And what gave me the idea for that, I didn't even really know much about these, but when I was at a Goodwill, I came across this one. This is Clint Eastwood in Escape from Alcatraz. It's the same thing. I actually bought this before I bought that Friday the 13th. I made a huge mistake, though. The day that I went there, somebody must have turned a bunch of these in, and they had the original Death Wish. They had Chinatown with Jack Nicholson. There was a couple other ones, and I should have grabbed them. And that particular day, and this one was also there, and that particular day I didn't grab any of these, and I was like, you know what, I slept on it that night, and I was like, you know what, I should have grabbed that stuff. Tomorrow morning when I get up, I'm going to take a ride back to Goodwill. I'm going to grab all those Death Wish and all that. Those were gone. This was the only one that was left, so I picked it up. And what's not to like about Clint Eastwood? So even though I will never watch these on a video disc player, these are just collector's pieces now for, old, retired physical media that's no longer in existence. Just a collector's piece. So I got these two. I don't know if I'll get any more. I may pick up like a Texas Chainsaw if I see one, or a film that's very iconic. Maybe if I see Jaws, I'll grab that one. But I don't plan on getting a whole bunch of these. These are just kind of display pieces. So, all right, let's get into the vinyl. So half the fun to me is hunting for these old records. I don't just grab any record. I'm a big music fan. I love music. I have a wide variety of music that I love. Music is very important to me in my life. I love music. I love lyrics. I love the whole thing. My eBay name is Music Is My Life. So a lot of these albums that I pick out, I love hunting for them, and then I take them home and I painstakingly clean them the most I can, the best I can. I put them in these plastic sleeves, and I try to revitalize them and make them new again. Unfortunately, for some of these, you're only going to get them so clean, especially a record like this that's probably 60 years old, and it's white, and you can see that it has scuff marks and stuff. I got it the best I could, but there's a little charm to those nicks and stuff. It's got some years and some age on it. So here's Bing Crosby, When Irish Eyes Are Smiling, put out on Decca Records. Love Bing Crosby. He's got one of the best voices ever. You can see it's got some smudges and stains, and I took a little alcohol wipe and I tried to kind of dabble those. I don't want to rub too much and take some of the ink off. So I got it the best I could, and it's just going to have to stay that way. But for the most part, a lot of the dirt and grime from all the years came off. You can see that the little towels that I use, they're pretty gray and black when I'm done with them. So they do the job. All right, so that is Bing Crosby, When Irish Eyes Are Smiling. The next one is called The Voice. That is Old Blue Eyes. Frank Sinatra. A little trivia about Frank Sinatra. He had another nickname called Chairman of the Board, and he hated that name. He hated that nickname. He did not mind Old Blue Eyes, and he hated being called Dago, because if you call an Italian a Dago, it's like calling a black guy the N-word. But he lovingly used to call Dean Martin the Dago, because it's kind of like, how black guys call each other the N-word, and they, it's kind of a respect thing between them. Same thing with Italians. If an Italian calls another Italian a Dago, that's fine. But if somebody else called you a dago and you're Italian, somebody's getting their ass kicked. Next one is Mario Lanza, Student Prince. Another excellent voice. Look at these records, man. These are beautiful. I love saving these. And they clean up pretty nice. I mean, they look like they're almost brand new. And these records are 60 years old. This one came out in 1954. It's over 60 years old. Probably my favorite singer of all time. It's between him and Sinatra, and that's Nat King Cole. This is on Capitol Records. This is an original first pressing. Every Time I Feel the Spirit by Nat King Cole. First Church of Deliverance Choir. One of the best voices, if not the very best voice of all time. Here's another one called Nat King Cole, A Many Splendored Thing. These are love songs. Here's another Nat King Cole. Look at that original price from Teensville, USA, 77 cents. And this one was like brand new. When I see stuff like this, I bring it home and I feel like I'm saving it, and I feel so good. This is from 1962. Makes me feel good knowing that I'm saving these. Look at the young Della Reese, Ray Charles, the Dorsey brothers. Dorsey brothers got Frank Sinatra his start. Now, when I was a kid, there was a door-to-door salesman. I was probably like in 5th grade, 4th grade. So about 1984, 1985. I remember a door-to-door salesman coming, knocking on our front door. My dad went to the front door, and he was selling, these are born-again Christian albums, and they were selling, I think these were from Agape Land. I don't know what church these guys were from. But my dad bought these two, Music Machine and Bullfrogs and Butterflies. And me and my brother listened to these records till they wouldn't play anymore. And they were gone for a long time. I forgot about these, and I saw these again at a Goodwill, and I picked these up, and they're in like brand new condition. I don't know if any of you guys remember these. If you do, comment below and let me know. But they're just kind of like, they're fun kids songs, but they're kind of geared toward the Bible. And I got two. There was 2 of these here, so I got both of them for 99 cents. I wanted to do it. If my brother ever gets a record player, which he's kind of, my brother and his wife are not physical media people like I am. They're more digital, so I think they're trying to get rid of all their stuff. But here is a Mary Poppins record. I just thought this looked pretty cool for 99 cents. You don't know when you're ever going to come across stuff like this again. I may never see this again in my life, so I thought for 99 cents, let me go ahead and grab it. If I don't like this stuff, I can always turn it right back to Goodwill and let somebody else buy it. Here's a Disney record, Bambi. I know these were kind of rare. These were expensive when I was a kid. We used to get the little 45s. We couldn't really, my mom would never really buy us these big records. This is the old school Disneyland record, Bambi. This is a die cut, and it opens up and there's a gatefold, and it shows a scene from the Bambi movie. Bambi and Thumper, Flower. This is old school. It's 1962 record here. Here's Fairy Tales by Danny Kaye. Again, who knows if I'm ever going to see something like this again. It's pretty cool. This old school stuff like this. Golden records. Look at some of these other golden records. You got Disney motion picture hits, Cinderella, Show and Tell, folk song Hootenanny, Nursery School, Munsters, Puff the Magic Dragon, all that stuff that we grew up on. Here's the Wizard of Oz. All of these were 99 cents a piece. Another Disneyland record. Looked like this belonged to a girl named Sheila Ho from 1969. That's pretty cool. I think, that artwork alone, just this retro feel, is worth 99 cents, let alone, you get the record and all that. Here's Cinderella and Pinocchio and Other Great Stories. Robin Hood, Hansel and Gretel, Aladdin, Sleeping Beauty. I know some of you guys are finding this interesting. Here's one called Dr. Seuss Fox and Socks and Green Eggs and Ham. Apparently this was a Toys R Us record for $1.97, and it was owned by Miss Jordan, who knows when. But this is a record from 1965. This might have been a teacher in the 60s. They was playing this for their kids on, a good day when they're, if it's raining outside and they can't go off for recess, she probably put on a record for the kids for recess. Here's a little Marcy Sings Sunday School Songs. I know it looks silly, but just this retro feel to me is worth 99 cents. It was a $5 record. Who knows if you'll ever see this stuff again. I'm trying to see if I can find a year. Here's Beryl Burney Sings Friends Around the World. Stories, songs, and greetings. If you get to the Goodwill at the right time, sometimes you'll find a treasure trove of goodies that some people decided that they don't want anymore, and you can enjoy for a while. And I'm sure eventually at some point I'll turn some of this stuff back into Goodwill. His Life for Mine and Other Stories, featuring Uncle Charlie and the Children's Bible Hour. See, I think a lot of these were probably turned in by the same person, because a lot of these were kind of Bible themed and children themed. Here's more Do Re Mi, the songs children love to sing. Here's the Nutcracker Suite, 1970, Walt Disney Records. This is a heavy one. I think this is a 2-record set. Plus it comes with an 11-page book. I don't know if some of you guys remember the television show called One Step Beyond. It was kind of like Twilight Zone. I have the box set of it on DVD. I should have went and pulled it out for this, but I didn't. But this is kind of it's a pretty cool record too. It's like a foil cover. See if I can find a year. I think this is kind of like the soundtrack for that show. Looks like somebody had it for 89 cents at one time. I'm not seeing a year, but it had to be in the 60s. Probably early 60s. Here's one called the Holiday Inn. Looks like it's kind of a Halloween record. Probably scary sounds for the season. It looks like it says, I don't know what that means, discard. I don't know if that was a like a sample, but I grabbed it. Looks like this one came out in 1982. Right there. Oh, actually 84. 1984 it came out. If anybody knows what that means, discard, is it was it a damaged copy, or was it like a no sale type copy, only for giving out? Here's one called Western Favorites, Stereophonic. Just that retro cover, right, man? I had to grab that. Trying to find a year here, but there's the tracks. This is probably from the 60s. Look at that art. And I got the Sting soundtrack, original motion picture soundtrack. Robert Redford and Paul Newman. There's Marvin Hamlish. I think he died at a very young age. He was a genius. I'll have to look him up after this video. I think I do remember hearing about Marvin Hamlish, and he was like a genius when it came to composing soundtracks, and he died maybe like in his 30s. He was already very well established already in his 30s. Here's one called Showbiz, narrated by George Jessel. Kind of like a variety from vaudeville to video, it says. And these were like brand new, man. It's unbelievable. Here's the original motion picture soundtrack for Oklahoma, the Broadway album. Here's another soundtrack for Man of La Mancha. This one was pretty dirty when I got it, and it cleaned up very nice, but you could still see some character to it. Best Musical 1966. Partially taped 1995. Somebody must have taped the record and then just got rid of the record. I'm trying to see if I can find a year. I don't want to take up too much more of you guys' time. This is already a very, very long video. Here's a West Side Story soundtrack, put out on Victrola from 1959. Here is Dr. Zhivago. I like it when they put the year on there, but this one does not have it. Here's a soundtrack for The Longest Day. I think that was from the 40s. Well, the movie, it's a World War II movie, and the movie takes place in the 40s. I don't know if that's when the record was made. Here's music from The Late Show. This is a Chicago-based show, and I live in the Chicago area. I live in Wisconsin. I live in between the city of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and the city of Chicago, Illinois. I'm right in the middle between those two cities. So we get a lot of television and radio from Chicago, and same from Milwaukee. So this just happens to be a from CBS Channel 2, Chicago. Here's one called Uncle Lar and Little Tommy's Animal Stories. Not sure what this is. It's another Chicago radio station, AM 89 and FM 95. Probably from the 80s. It looks like it's 82. And that's volume 2. And then there was also a volume 3 there that was still sealed, never opened, from 1983. So it's just kind of like probably shock jocks telling funny stories. Here is Henry Mancini and Doc Severinsen. Many of you guys will know who Doc Severinsen is. He was the band leader for Johnny Carson on The Tonight Show for 30 years, over 30 years. And of course, Henry Mancini is a musical genius, and they composed music together. It's called Brass on Ivory, and how would you not want to have this in your collection? Anybody who sees this for 99 cents is going to grab it right away. It's from 1972. And Doc Severinsen is still with us. I think he's in his 90s now. He's still kicking. Everybody else is gone, Carson, McMahon. Here's Burl Ives, The 12 Days of Christmas. This is another classic. We had this on record when I was a kid. This is an oldie, $2.49. You could see it was a Merry Christmas sticker too. And who else to sing The 12 Days of Christmas than Burl Ives? Look at that cover, man. That's unbelievable. This thing cleaned up like brand new too. Couple more, guys, couple more. So I bought these right around the 4th of July. That's how long I've been sitting on these. And I did get a couple of kind of festive type albums for the season. And this is the Joyous Sounds of America. This is from 1975. And you're going to take a look. You got the Star Spangled Banner and Stars and Stripes Forever. Some very patriotic songs for the US of A. Here's another one called Victory at Sea. And this is an older version of this same record. This is Victory at Sea. This was the London Philharmonic Orchestra. I believe this one also is, but this is older. And this one has more tracks on it than this one, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see if I can find that really quick without taking too much time. Yes, I believe this was probably, this one here was probably like a decade or more older than this one. Pretty much the same thing though. I like this cover better, but this one's in better condition. And a couple of Bill Cosby records. I started out as a child, very early Bill Cosby. This one was a little bit beat up, but for 99 cents I grabbed it. Here's another one. This one's called Why Is There Air? Another one that's kind of beat up. Looks like maybe they were kind of stuck together and they were just pulled apart. I don't know. Don't know the years for these, but I'm sure it was the 60s. And one more. This is called Revenge. Yeah, so these were, out of all the records that I just showed, these last three Cosby ones were probably beat up the most. I mean, they got, looks like they had a little water damage, but they cleaned up pretty good and they're dry and they're in their Mylar sleeves now, so they should be good. And one more thing to show. This was an eBay purchase. This is called Lights Out, and this is an AM radio program from back in the 40s, 1943. When everything, this was way before people had televisions, and they'd gather around their radios at night and listen to radio programs with their families. And the later at night it got, the more scary the programs got. And this is from the Radiola company. This was limited to 1,000 copies. This is number 732. And I believe this was from 1972, this record. But it's depicting a show from 1948. There's a couple different shows on here. The Witch's Tale from 1939, Four Fingers and a Thumb. One of them has Boris Karloff and The Babysitter from 1948. And even back in 1972, they were releasing things in thousands. And I just wanted to kind of show you that I do have the AM cassette series for the Lights Out program. And I have shows from 1939 to 1943. And I just wanted to pick up this record as a collectible piece because this is a good show. All right, so that is it. I don't even know, I'm afraid to see how long this video is, but make sure that you check that link down below for Chili Billy and go subscribe to him. Tell him Toddy Walnuts sent you. If you watched all the way through, give me a hashtag for who do you think would win in a fight between Kong and Godzilla. If you're a Godzilla fan, hashtag Godzilla. If you're a Kong fan, hashtag Kong. That will let me know that you guys made it through this whole video, and that will really impress me and make me feel good. I'm starting to lose my voice a little bit. And there was one other thing I was going to tell you. Let me know what you think that Freddy Krueger, what does he say in that scene? And if you don't know, I'm going to leave a link for that too. It'd be kind of fun to hear how many of you guys know that, what he says in that scene where he has his arms opened out and he's chasing those kids around the pool. All right, guys, thank you very much. I'm going to upload this now. Yeah, take care and see you next time.